over to you now.
Our speaker today is Lesley Lodmell. She's the lady in the green sweater for 4-H. And I'm going to read a resume about her. She's been here since 2014, but it's quicker if I just read. It's short. Currently, Lesley is living her dream of working through 4-H. Since 2014, she has been the Lawrence County Extension Educator for 4-H and Youth Development with Purdue Extension. She gets to work with amazing youth, manage incredible volunteers, and produce valuable programs in Lawrence County and across the state of Indiana. She also serves as the County Extension Director. If you see the letter CED, that's what County Extension Director means. Lesley has had a unique path to get here, which started as a 10-year 4-H member in the state of Kentucky. She is a proud hilltopper and holds a bachelor's degree in corporate and organizational communication from Western Kentucky University. While at Western Kentucky, she minored in nonprofit administration and completed an honors college thesis focused on how local nonprofits use technology and bettering that relationship. Before starting her graduate program, Lesley was an intern twice for Extension in Kentucky, and then later for Purdue Extension in Lawrence County. So I met her a long time ago when she was doing an internship in Lawrence County. In May of 2014, Lesley graduated with a Master's of Public Affairs degree from Indiana University's O'Neill School, formerly SPEA. She concentrated in nonprofit management and continued work related to nonprofits and technology. She has served as the SPEA Service Corps Fellow for the Service Nonprofit Technology Clinic. Though it is not a traditional route, Lesley believes her educational background, paired with her experiences, has helped her see the 4-H program in a different light to push for it to be what youth need to be for tomorrow. In other words, you got to keep kids busy. Okay, Lesley, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you all for having me today. I'm going to try and keep it brief. I'm not great at that because we have so many programs with Extension, and so I can go on and on and on and on. So I'm happy to answer any questions if there's anything that I don't hit that you're interested in. I'm happy to have more conversations anytime as well. So I have business cards here today if you want to know more. Today I am going to focus on the 4-H program because that's my passion. That's what I love to get to talk about. We do lots of cool stuff in Extension, but 4-H is my thing, and I haven't gotten to do a lot of that lately. So I know that a lot of people in this room have heard of Extension, and now you've all heard the term 4-H, but just to give me a baseline, before today, how many people in this room had heard of 4-H in some capacity? Okay, good, awesome. And then most people have heard of Purdue as well. And as we see here, I have allegiances all over the place, but Purdue does pay the bills now. So the link between Purdue and 4-H, we're not like, oh, if you like IU, we don't want you. That's not it at all. We work with all youth in the state of Indiana and across the nation. The difference is Purdue University is our land grant university in the state of Indiana. And so the federal government has set up that Extension and 4-H are out of the land grant university in each state. So that's why it's housed with Purdue here, University of Kentucky, and so forth. So please don't, if you're a big IU fan, don't stop listening yet, okay? So I have been here for going on 8 years now and love it, loving a resident here in Lawrence County. But today, here in 4-H, we're all about hands-on activities. School is fantastic, school is necessary, but school sometimes needs a little help for some of our young people. They need something else in addition to it. And we like to think of 4-H as being that something in addition to help them get to their dreams and their goals. So I am all about hands-on activities. And so Jacob's going to help me out here, and we're going to pass out a piece of paper to you. So everybody's gonna get this piece of paper. I just pulled it out of the copier on the way here. We don't buy special fancy paper at the extension office. So I promise it is just a regular sheet, everyday ordinary computer paper, okay? But how many people in this room think that we can make that to where it is one connected piece still in some way, and you can walk through it like a door? Anybody think that that's possible? If so, raise your hand. Do you think we can make a door out of this piece of paper? Anybody? One person believes, two maybe? Okay, all right. Well, I'm also going to pass out a pair of ordinary scissors. Sorry, I work with young people. My scissors are little. I apologize for that. So a little extra challenge for it today. So Jacob's gonna now pass out some scissors to you. And I want you to think about it, and you can work in your table groups. I'm all about a little collaborative effort too. So work with your table, and I have more paper. So I love testing things out and trying again. So test it out, see if there's a way. It needs to still all be connected in one continuous piece, but see if you can figure out how to walk through this piece of paper. And I'm gonna give everybody about 2 minutes. One more piece of paper to them all. One more piece, yep. Okay, so I've seen some things that look promising. Okay, I'm gonna keep going with the conversation while some of you finish working with what you've got. So when you were younger, when you were, in elementary school, what did you want to be when you grew up? Any ideas? A pilot, okay. What else did you want to be when you grew up? A teacher, okay. Accountant, okay. What else? What did you want to be when you grew up? Forest ranger, okay. Astronaut. I think you could do it, Rowena. Okay. So when you were younger, did that feel somewhat big, somewhat overwhelming to think about being a pilot or an accountant or an astronaut when you didn't have the skills yet? Or not? It's not. So it's not quite all connected. It's a good thought. It's not connected. You reconnected it, but I do like it though. You can fit through that though. Yeah, I like it. He's got another plan. Okay. So with those things that you wanted to be when you grew up, you needed a little help, a little direction, right? A little guidance. So for a lot, it's school and what that takes. But for some, you needed something outside of school that's that little help and direction, or something to ignite that passion. I don't know if whenever you were in school, you decided you wanted to be an accountant or a pilot or an astronaut, or if something else you were involved with helped spark that interest. But for young people, they need places that they can go that spark interest in different things and help guide their future, be it a mechanic or an IT person or anything like that. So we have somebody that's got something looking pretty promising over here, but I'm gonna have Jacob help me out and pass out, just like with things in life and finding your career, you need a little help and direction. Sometimes you need a little help and direction on a little brain teaser that we've got here today. So Jacob's gonna pass out those directions, and then I'll go through them too, because I hate when you get left hanging on how to do something. And I'll use the tiny scissors too, because I forgot my big ones. So, and Jacob passed out another piece of paper in case you want to try for a successful one, but you're going to start by folding your piece of paper hot dog style. I don't know if that's how they still refer to it in school or not, but that's how I learned it. And then, can you fit through? So you are so incredibly close, so incredibly close. So the difference is there's one cut that you didn't make that could have changed it. So I want you to have your fold down towards the floor, and then you're going to cut up not all the way through, but you're gonna cut it, leave about a half an inch or so at the top that you're gonna cut up. So whenever you do that, it looks a little bit like this. Yeah, so cut up. And then you're gonna flip it over and not including the tabs that you just cut, you're gonna cut directly down that center fold line. Again, tiny scissors, it's not gonna be pretty, but it doesn't have to be. So you're gonna cut along that fold. But don't cut through your slits. And I think that's the one piece, Daryl, that. Yep. Yep. So then you leave it folded, and now you start alternating which direction you cut on. And how big you want, the bigger you want it, the smaller you make your cuts, or the closer together you make your cuts. And every time I get to the end and I try and open mine, I get nervous that I've done it wrong. So we'll see. And then you open it up and you can fit through. Yep. Perfect. That is the closest I've ever had anybody to getting this on the first go round. So congratulations. Yeah. So
Remember, he doesn't enjoy it.
oh, gotcha. So with a little bit of help and a little bit of direction, we made something that looks impossible possible today. Okay. And I like to think that that's what 4-H does for our young people as well. So I have a great example, a phenomenal example of one of our outstanding young people here with us today. And I'm going to let Jacob take it over and talk about some of the things that he does. A lot of people think of us as agriculture, and we've been around since 1902, and we do agriculture because in 1902, that's what our young people needed. That's the direction that they were going to in life. They were going to have careers that were going to be deep-seated in agriculture. Today, we think that agriculture is still a great way to learn valuable life skills like compassion, responsibility, time management, all of that kind of thing. But there's so much more that people often don't realize that we do. And Jacob is a great example of that. So Jacob, I will hand it over to you and I'll be your minion as needed.
Hello, I am Jacob Burris. I live in the Springville area. I attended school at Fayetteville Elementary, BMS, and I am currently in 8th grade at Olytic Schools. Today, I would like to talk to you about 4-H, specifically the exhibits in the exhibit hall or projects, as we like to call them. I have been in 4-H since 2nd grade. In kindergarten through 2nd grade, there is mini 4-H, which is non-competitive. In 3rd grade through 12th grade, your projects are assessed by judges, and you compete against other kids to get ribbons and different prizes and sometimes go to the state fair. Many people, when they hear of 4-H, they think of animals, but there's a lot of other things than animals, like the projects. I do nothing with animals. I just do projects. I do projects in 4 different categories: woodworking, which I have here, construction toys, arts and crafts, and do your own thing. My woodworking projects go to the state fair sometimes.
He's being modest. They go a lot of times.
My others don't, but there are a lot of other categories that do go to the state fair. Mine just don't. My others don't. I've been doing woodworking since 3rd grade. because I enjoy doing the work, and I enjoy knowing that I take tiny bits of wood and turn them into something like my chest here. And I also like knowing that I can make money off of these. Like my clock over here, a judge has wanted it, and my mom and sister have both wanted my chest. It also makes me feel good when kids I know tell me that they've seen my projects at the fair and that they liked it. I also enjoy it when I get my scorecard back from the judges, because the judges give me constructive criticism to learn from my other projects. Like my first project, which was this flower box, I did paint on it. And I think the judge suggested doing stain. And I've done stain on all my others. I like how the stain makes the wood kind of pop out, and just like the way it looks. I also enjoy getting the ribbons that they give us, because it makes me feel like all my hard work and effort was realized and respected. I have learned many things doing these projects, like time management. I have to figure out what time, when to start my projects to be able to get them done before the fair. Responsibility, resiliency. Like when I think I'm done sanding the wood, I have to sand more to get it as smooth as I want it. It sometimes gets infuriating because it's a lot of work. I've learned goal setting, personal safety. I don't want injuries, but sometimes it happens. And the good thing is I learn from those mistakes that I make so that I don't get hurt the same way again. And I also learn problem solving, like trying to work through something that gets me to the desired outcome. Over here on my chest, this hinge, every time you'd open it, it would pop out. So I had to figure out a way to keep it in. It was this piece down here it was like stripped. So I had to replace that, but that's a form of problem solving that I used. 4-Hers who do woodworking will get a skills chart, which I have here. The skills chart has woodworking is divided into 4 levels. Level 1 has 3rd and 4th graders. Level 2 has 5th and 6th graders. Level 3 has 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. And level 4 has 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. And you have to have a minimum of 5 skills for your level incorporated into your project. And as you progress in the levels, the skills get increasingly difficult. Like in level 1, you have basic tools like using a ruler or a hammer. And then by the time you get to level 4, you are using a circular saw, a lathe, a planer. They just get really advanced at times. I'm very proud of all these projects because all of these have been selected to go to state fair. In the county fair, the ribbons are you have 3rd place, 2nd place, and 1st place. Then you have reserve champion for your level, champion for your level, reserve grand champion out of that category, and then grand champion, which is the best project out of that category. I have gotten grand champion with my chest and my clock, I think. At the state fair, it's a little different because you have the participation award, 3rd place, 2nd place, 1st place, the special merit, which is given to a select few in that category. Then you have the sweepstakes, which is the grand champion of the state fair, basically. My flower box got a second place. My toolbox got a special merit and a first place. My cutting board got a first place. My clock got a first place and a special merit. And my chest got a special merit in the first place. My first woodworking project was my flower box, and you can see that's very basically done with taking 2 pieces of wood and just hammering nails into them to keep them together. And then as I grew in the levels, I started using joints like dowel joints, which I put a dowel rod and it goes all the way through my cutting board to keep all of them together. And in my clock, in my drawer, I used a finger joint where I cut grooves into the wood and put them together. And then I cut off the access and then sanded a lot to make it as flush as I needed it to be. And even when I progressed just the 1 year from my flower box to my toolbox, I used screws on this one. And I used plugs to cover them up so you can't see where they were. I made sure the grain was facing the same way too to make sure they were completely hidden. All my advancements show how much I have learned through the 4-H program. There are hammer dents all over my flower box, and the paint was applied thickly and not the neatest. And then the cedar chest has no dents. I didn't use a hammer on that either, so that might have contributed. And I used stain, linseed oil, and wax to cover it nicely and cleanly. I feel that if I learned so much as to go from my flower box to my chest, I don't see why it shouldn't apply to other kids and their projects or their animals everywhere. And the joint success I get from 4-H is amazing, and the stuff I learn is amazing too. That's the whole point of 4-H, is to learn and have fun learning. And I would definitely encourage others to do the same and participate. Do you have any questions? Yes.
Do you hope to use your woodworking skills someday when you're an adult, your future job, or what are you thinking about for the future?
I feel like building these projects and selling them, I definitely think I could do that. Yeah.
And you said you sell some of your items you make. Is it just the items that you enter into the fair, or do you make extra items to sell throughout the year?
Sometimes I make extra items, like for Christmas, I make extra cutting boards and kind of toy around with like I've got walnut, which is the darker wood, and then maple as the lighter wood. I sometimes switch how they're positioned, like using the handle as maple and then the others as walnut to kind of see how it looks. Yeah. Yes.
Approximately how much time a week do you devote to that?
A week. Sometimes I work every night after school, so I get like maybe a good 4 hours a day. Yeah, depending on when I start.
The closer we get to the fair, the more time it takes.
Yes. Don't want to start a month before the fair. Yeah.
Well, first of all, you are an amazing young man.
Thanks.
Very, very impressive. But my question is, so where do you do all this? Do you have a workshop at?
I work in the garage, and my dad has a bunch of, like, he's got a table saw and a bunch of other machinery that I use. He wants a shop, but
How many different tools did you use to accomplish your job?
too many to count. There's, yeah, I've got a bunch, like even just, it's really hard because I use a bunch of different drill bits too. So I definitely think I use mostly the table saw and a drill press. And definitely sand, like sandpaper. I definitely use that a lot too.
You said the flower box was your first?
Yes,
operation,
yes,
and then
my,
the chest is the most recent one?
yes.
How far apart are those in terms of years? And how
Um,
far apart were those complete?
I did this in second grade and this was last year. No, third grade. I did this in third grade and this was last year. And I'm in eighth grade now, so like 5 years apart, maybe.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.